Today's special cross-show edition of the Bleav in Steelers and Bleav in Ravens podcast is brought to you by BetOnline.ag. NFL Week 5 is here. If you want to place a bet on any of the football action, BetOnline is the place to do it.
365, 24/7, regardless on what sport it is, make sure y'all check out BetOnline.ag.
You can see the promo code on your screen right now. That's BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Welcome into the Bleav in Steelers show. I'm Mark Bergin, joined as always by Swag and You, two-time Super Bowl champion and Pittsburgh Steelers scout Ike Taylor. IT, we had to keep today's guest in the Bleav Network family.
Right. It's only right. It's only right. Especially when Pittsburgh play the Ravens, you got to keep it in the family, even though we don't act like we're family.
It's all love. I like the way he introduced you, two-time Super Bowl champ.
I appreciate that, DW.
Like, well, you worse than Ike and Tina.
Sometimes it could get like that.
Daniel Wilcox, welcome to the show. Good to see you. I know we've done this in the past. Always fun to talk Steelers and Ravens. You're on the road, but I figure it's like, who better to talk to than Ike and Daniel, two players who played for the team. So welcome to the show. Welcome aboard.
Mark, thank you guys for having me on, man. It's always a pleasure to come on you guys. So you guys are top notch, man. Let's do this.
Appreciate you, D.
Ike, where do you want to start with this matchup? Because there's a lot of directions we can go. I'm going to give you first crack, Ike.
Man, D, I just want to just your opinion. Pretty much everybody's helping. You know, Baltimore really wasn't healthy last year. They had a lot of injuries, especially starters, especially on defense. Just give me some insight on what you think, how Baltimore is looking this year so far with Lamar. Lamar coming back, he got his contract, and they picking up a few new receivers, some pieces. OBJ been out for a few games, but you pick up a Zay. You pick up a Zay, man. Zay doing his thing in the slot, just a playmaker, period. And we already know what Andrews can do when it comes to that tight end position. But what's your thought on the Ravens' offense this year?
I love it so far, man. I think it went back to a little bit more of a spread style offense, which I think works in Lamar's favor. You can't just get a beat on him so much with all the read option stuff. And, when you go read option, it's just like playing the option in college, where you have one guy assigned for the back, one guy assigned for the quarterback every single play, and you might put a spy on Lamar, so everywhere he goes, he get hit. But in that spread, he can drop back and throw it to anybody. He can hit his check downs, and then he can take off running at any moment. We've been banged up this year too, Ike. I don't know what's going on over there at the Ravens facility, man. But, we just got Mark Andrews back healthy. I got him out there playing. And, of course, OBJ and Bateman both kind of beat up again, right now. I mean, so we still kind of banged up. We was down with our best corner as well. My boy Mark, he been out for a while. So, it's gonna be interesting, man, to kind of see how this game plays out. But I love the Ravens offense. I love what they're doing. And I don't think anybody's really taking into consideration that how most of these teams didn't play their starters the entire preseason. So these first 4 weeks been just like playing 4 preseason games for all the starters. None of our starters played preseason at all, so it's kind of good to kind of get some of that rust knocked off and get a chance to roll into Steelers week, basically the first game of the season, week 5. So it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out. You guys are always a physical battle, and I don't expect anything less from y'all for somebody to get knocked out on the first play of the game.
All right, let's keep going left. From where Baltimore at, Maryland, let's keep going left all the way up to Pittsburgh. Your thoughts on what you see in the first 4 games on Pittsburgh offense?
I like what I'm seeing so far, man. I think y'all still got a lot of, production as far as, just kind of get more consistent and stuff like that, man. But to me, Najee is your workhorse. You still got to just get the ball to Najee and just let him pound the rock as much as possible. You can't get cute, man. You got a great defense. You always have a solid defense in Pittsburgh. So to me, the key is y'all just running the ball, running it down people's throats, and just out physical people. I mean, that's always been Pittsburgh game. I don't see any reason to try to change it now just because it's a touch league, right? What you call it, flag football. It's flag football now. So everybody's trying to look back and get them. Everybody's trying to drop back and be pretty and cute and throw the ball all over the field, man. But I mean, in our worlds, it's pound the rock first, throw the ball second, So I mean, I'm not mad what I've seen in Pittsburgh. Like I said, I feel like you guys are doing the same thing that we're doing. You're knocking the rust off everybody right now. These first 4 games, you can't really be mad at anything. Like, let them go how they gonna go. It really, the way the season is playing around now, the Ravens had so many injuries the last 4 or 5 years, man. Like, we're not even playing no starters in preseason. We're not even risking losing our guys when it don't count. And I think everybody's kind of starting to kind of pick up on that around the league. And that's a huge change for Harbaugh. Because when I played for him, we played every snap, almost every preseason, every snap in training camp. It was this old smash mouth football type, Bear Bryant type offense at first and defense. And now he's starting to kind of come off of that because he's lost some valuable guys too early.
Yeah, I think Sean McVay kind of started that over there with the LA Rams. He started that like five years ago. And a lot of people started talking about what he was doing. Then he wound up winning the Super Bowl. And once he won the Super Bowl, everybody was like, since it's a copycat league, everybody was like, you know what? I'm just going to start to rest my starters too in the preseason.
We'll get Daniel back here in just a second, Ike. But where I look at this too, Ike, is check this out. You always tell me to listen to what the players are saying. And I see what Najee Harris says to media members just yesterday on Wednesday. And I look at it from the standpoint of a leadership trait, Ike. And I know he's been a captain in years past, and you have to give the captaincy to your quarterback. I certainly understand that. But I look at it from the standpoint of the Steelers have struggled offensively. That's no secret. But he's saying the players have to be accountable and we have to do our end. And I thought Najee ran really, really hard in that week 4 game against the Texans. And part of my frustration on that 4th and 1 play when the Steelers are down 16-6 in the second half and they're struggling was I thought Najee had the hot hand in that game. And I think he's finally starting to understand that I need to run more north and south. I understand what style of running back that I am and that I can't get away with some of the same things that I could say in college at an NFL level. From a leadership standpoint, Ike, and everyone wants to point to Matt Canada or the struggles of Kenny Pickett. He was saying as players, point blank period, we need to all raise our level of play and all need to be accountable, and that's on the players. And whether that's true or not, Ike, from a leadership standpoint, it was very eye-opening to me, and good on Najee for saying that to media members on Wednesday.
Yeah, the good thing I like about Najee, he always going to be grown about his conversations, whether you like it or not. But the good thing about the growth and development of Najee is you always got to start off with I. So Najee could have went left. He could have said something totally different when it came down to what happened in Houston. But at the same time, he just kept it player. The player kept it player. So Najee was just like, players play, coaches coach. But at the same time, man, as a player, we was doing a lot of things on the field that we usually don't do. So I do agree on that 4th and 1. I definitely would have gave it to Najee because Najee did have the hot hand. But we didn't, and that was last week. But at the same time, I just, give kudos to Najee for starting off with I.
Yeah, we're trying to get Daniel back here. As Daniel, can you hear us now? We're trying to get you back here in the conversation.
Okay. Can you hear me, Mark?
We've got you.
Okay, sorry about that.
All good. We're just talking about how to try to fix some of the Steelers' offensive struggles in week 4, coming off a game where they finished the game with 225 yards of offense in the first half, limited to 53 total yards of offense. And, you're mentioning Najee Harris. I think it starts and stops with him to where if you can establish him in the running game, it sets up play action, something Kenny Pickett has demonstrated the ability to do. And leaning on the personnel that you do have, Steelers are going to be starting a rookie left tackle in Broderick Jones this weekend. So that's going to be a key matchup is can he set the edge and protect Kenny Pickett's blind side as well. But getting the running game going with Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren and company, that's going to be absolutely huge for the Steelers.
Yeah, he won't be able to protect his blind side at all this week. Maybe next week. Sorry, Mark.
I don't know, man. Broderick really, he been getting some burn, but he been getting burned like with the baby steps. And it just, I guess it's coming at a good time. I would say, D, and the reason why I say that is because, you just keep seeing, I seen this with Marquise Pouncey, man. I just seen 30, 40 yards down the field, he finishing plays, and them guys don't come around too often, whether it's a running play or whether he's just trying to block, help a receiver get open. But when you got a young athletic guy like Broderick running down the field like that, of course he's going to make his mistakes, but at the same time, he's always been a dog when it comes down to being on the field, super athletic. But I think Pittsburgh did a good job by just not just letting him just jump in there because he's a first-round draft pick, but just kind of like baby stepping him. So this gonna test him right gonna test them right here on what's going on, especially going against y'all, the Baltimore Ravens. And we know when you talk about the Baltimore Ravens, if it's one thing y'all gonna have some linebackers.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna rush the passer, man, like crazy. This is gonna be a heck of a test for that kid. You definitely don't want to throw guys into the fire, but this is the game that you want your best players on the field. So if Broderick is that guy for you guys, you want to put him out there and just see what happens. Let him swim or sink. And he's gonna go against some dogs this week. Jadeveon Clowney is over there. He's pressuring the quarterback like crazy. The top rusher as far as getting to the quarterback. He's missing more sacks than he's making right now, but he's in your quarterback face almost every series back and try to throw the ball, man. So he'll definitely get tested out there, and we're gonna see what these guys are gonna bring to the table this week. I love seeing young guys get thrown in the fire, man. I was a part of that book Next Man Up, when they did that thing in Baltimore back in the day. So I'm all for young guys getting a chance to get out there and actually show what they can do and give them an opportunity to earn it, to earn the money that you're giving them. Because, these kids nowadays, they get money before they even step foot on the field and do anything. This way you can actually see, if your front office guys did their job, right? I'm excited, man. I always love to see this week, man. Pittsburgh versus the Ravens. It's going to be a heck of a game always. I wish I could have been in Baltimore this weekend and Pittsburgh this weekend to see this game.
Absolutely. Daniel, when we talked with you the last time, Lamar Jackson hadn't got his contract extension ironed out with the Ravens yet. He has the Ravens off to a 3-1 start. Got some new weapons around him too, new offensive coordinator. What have you seen? I mean, it doesn't look like there's any buyer's remorse. I think the Ravens could easily be off to a 4-0 start, if not for no pass interference called in overtime of that Colts game. But what have you seen from Lamar since he's gotten the big extension?
I feel like it's just patience, man. Like even with Monken right now, I just feel like everything is just they're pacing themselves. I don't feel like they've opened up the playbook yet. I feel like they're treating these first 4 games like with baby steps. And I'm not saying they're trying to lose games intentionally, because they definitely lost the game last week that they could have won against the Colts. The week before last. But I'm not saying that they're not taking the training wheels off the offense, because Lamar has already been given the green light to change plays at the line of scrimmage, the whole 9 yards. He's got more freedom now than he's ever had as a quarterback in this league, underneath Monken, man. So I'm excited to kind of see what's going to happen as he develops. And you can tell Lamar is not trying to run at all right now. He's really not trying to use his legs. He's trying to sit in the pocket, throw the ball, find his receivers downfield, and feed those beasts that he has. Because this is the best receiving core I think the Ravens have ever had, like, period. Like, ever. And that's saying a lot, because I was a Raven receiver at one point myself, but I feel like this is as deep as they've ever been. You got Duvernay, you got Bateman, you got Zay Flowers, you got OBJ, you got Mark Andrews, you got Isaiah Likely behind Andrews. You got some dogs out there, man. It's more guys out there. Every time you turn on, even Nelson Agholor, he's a dude too now. I mean, don't sleep. So this is probably the best receiving core I think I've ever seen Lamar have in his tenure being a Raven. I feel like they let one get away from them with the Colts, but they're not gonna. They're coming prepared for this game. I can guarantee you. Ike, this ain't one of them games that you sleep on. This is a rivalry week game. It's gonna be a huge game. Everybody's gonna be dialed in. Everybody's gonna be focused. Even if it's messy in the first part of the game, when everybody calms down and get all the jitters and all the anger and stuff out of them and just settle down into this game, it's going to be one heck of a game this week. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, when Pittsburgh play the Ravens, it's always, man, we're going to be in the cold tub the next week for a week. That's just what it is, regardless on what the record is. The record would be 1-7, or we can both be 4-1. But once we meet up, man, we already know, man. Go ahead on, get your massage lady or massage person. Go ahead on, get your cold tub ready for the next 7 days. Go ahead on and get your stretch person for the next 7 days, because after the game, this is just what it's going to be. And by the way, have some Advil or some Tylenol, because you're going to need it for the next 3 days. That's just what it is when Baltimore play the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's always been the understanding that we don't like each other. We just got mutual respect for each other.
Yeah, I always felt bad for the light-skinned players, because they always end up with all these home or something. You know what I mean? Like you remember, like Potsy, like James Farrier.
Hey, my son a mixed baby, and I tell him all the time. I say, look, man, you light skinned, so you got to prove yourself a little bit different. Cause we be coming after y'all light skinned guys. He like that. Man. I already know.
You can't be doing Head and Shoulders commercial, Troy.
Oh, he definitely gonna do that. He on his way to doing that right now.
The perspective I want to get from both of you as former players, Lamar Jackson has a 2-3 record against the Steelers. And Ike, I want to start with you from the defense perspective, and then I want to get Daniel's perspective. How have the Steelers fared in slowing down Lamar Jackson? I don't think you can fully stop him, but what have the Steelers done to say we can at least slow him down compared to other teams in the league?
TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, What I think Pittsburgh do a real good job of just keeping Lamar in the pocket. So it's not this week is not a sack crazy week. This week is can Lamar throw interceptions? Let's keep him in the pocket kind of week, and that's how Pittsburgh been successful. What Pittsburgh has done is we force Lamar to pass. Let's stop the run. Let's force him to pass. On third down situations, let's keep him in the pocket. But it's going to be very interesting this year because he definitely got a different offensive coordinator. And like D was saying, he got some weapons on the outside. This might be his best group of receivers that he's had. I ain't going to say group of receivers. This might be Lamar Jackson's best group this year. And when you got somebody like that, you can just see the maturity in Lamar. Even when he does run, he's conscious on instead of getting hit, he's starting to slide a little bit. Only time he really gonna take it though if he's close to that pylon, which I should expect, where he might duck his head and try to get in the end zone. But other than that, outside the red zone, you can tell Lamar, man, he understands how valuable he is to the team, and every time he do step outside, he'll slide out of bounds and he'll slide on the field. So that's what I like about Lamar as far as like the maturity level. And he's just the best player on the team, but he's just the most complete, humble player on the team. And that's what makes Lamar so special in my mind. But Pittsburgh always just have his number. So far, man, they tell him, stay in the pocket. You keep him in the pocket, we got action. But other than that, you let him get outside the pocket, Lamar's going to be Lamar, and that's what we don't want. Extending plays, making plays down the field, John Madden you on the field on Sunday. So that's what Pittsburgh, I think, just does better than most teams. They just know how to keep Lamar in the pocket.
It's them dogs, man. Pittsburgh got them dogs too now. Y'all have always had some stud linebackers and some great DBs, man. And your D-line ain't never been short of being awesome either, man. So when you got talent and you put together talent the way the Steelers, front office do, man, and you got some guys out there that can freaking play ball. And I think I hit the nail on the head. Like Lamar's maturity has been, second to none, and you can see it. It's evident, the way he plays the game, and he's playing a little bit smarter. He's been hurt 2 years in a row, man. Didn't finish the season. Mm-hmm. So you have to, and it's not like major injuries. You're talking about, high ankle sprains and stuff like that. So he has to protect himself and just take better care of himself. And you can just see it. I can guarantee you that emphasis is coming from Monken. Like, hey, man, we got to keep you on the field. Without you, we're not the same team, and that's important. And he knows exactly how important it is for him to be out there. And he's just been really, really, really smart. You've seen the decisions he's made all year long, and he's smart enough to like get down when he need to get down and get out of bounds when he need to get out of bounds. And when I notice when he run now, he's not so explosive right off the first three or four steps. Like, he's not trying to get out of there so fast. He's almost delayed. He's taking a couple hits behind the line of scrimmage, a couple sacks from behind, because he's just not trying to burst out of there like full speed like he had been in the past. And he's giving guys a chance to kind of dive on the back of his legs right now. So I think he'll clean some of that up, and he'll continue to develop as this season goes on. And you'll see those same explosive plays that you've seen from him in the years past. You'll see them start to show up in week 6, week 7, week 8, and stuff like that. And Pittsburgh has always done a great job of containing quarterbacks, just like the Ravens have always done. And when you play against those high energy guys like Lamar, you have to be conscious and corral them. And everybody just kind of got to stay in their lane. It's kind of like, if you really think about it, it's kind of like kickoff coverage. You're assigned lanes on kickoff, and then when you go out of your lane, somebody has to fill that gap. And that's how defense is played when you play against Lamar with Pittsburgh. They're just smart, man. They got guys hanging back in the right spots, and they'll come up and fill those holes like safeties. It's been amazing, man, just to kind of watch you guys develop as a program. And under Mike Tomlin, my old linebackers coach in Tampa Bay, I'm proud of Mike, man. He did a great job in Pittsburgh. I hope he continue to be there for a long time.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm certain he will be. I know there's a lot made of this week with the Steelers' offensive struggles, with offensive coordinator Matt Canada, but I mean, we've talked to people throughout the league, and I'll say this: the consensus is if Mike Tomlin ever left Pittsburgh, he'd have a job with one of the other 31 teams by sundown on the same day. And it's like one thing, and I can go on my soapbox here for just a second. Can he have a losing season first before anyone just wants to say like, oh, let's get him out of here? I understand the frustrations. You haven't won a playoff game since the 2016 season, but there are so many other franchises in the league that would love to be where the Steelers are at. That's not to say things can't be improved upon. But, like, could he have a losing season first before we want to run him out of town? I've seen a lot this week, and I'll land here. If the Steelers win this game, they're top of the division. Like, despite all the offensive struggles through 4 games, if you win this week, you're top of the AFC North.
Hey, you know how it is, man. Pittsburgh Steelers fans, they spoiled. We spoiled them for a long time. Coach T, I know for a fact, Coach T by himself gonna win you 3 games. By himself gonna win you 3 games, and only two or three coaches you can really say that for. A lot of coaches, they can win games off of their roster. And we can't knock that as an organization. But I'm talking about X's and O's, Mark. Coach T gonna win 3 games for sure, maybe 4, by himself, just by out scheming and out coaching whoever he's up against. That's just Coach T, and that verified that for me. This offseason, I really got to see him work in his dungeon, so say. So when I saw Coach T jumping out of scouting meeting, then after he jumping out of scouting meeting, he'll go back to his dungeon. Then after he go back to his dungeon, he'll meet with an offensive, defensive coordinator, see what they got going on for this upcoming season. Then after he do that, he trying to sign free agents. Then after he sign free agents, he'll jump back into our meeting like he was bouncing around. And I'm like, man, this dude don't stop. This is a drug to Coach T. Coach T love football. So when I saw Coach T this offseason really move like how he was moving, I'm like, man, this dude all the way different. And then I'll look back, I'm like, dang, he should have won Coach of the Year last year. To go 2-6, then finish off on 9-8, man, everybody left him to rot. So I'm like, how many games Coach T won on his own? How hard it is going 2-6 in the NFL, starting off 2-6 and turning that thing and doing a whole 180 and going 9-8. Man, that's some hell of a coaching. But that start with your head man, and that's Coach T. But then when I saw him this offseason and how he was moving, I said, man, this is unbelievable. I can't even believe this dude. I don't even know how he got the energy for it. And then you just sit down and talk to him. All he want to talk to is ball, ball, ball. That's all he want to talk about. He don't care about. He don't know what's going on outside of football than football. He don't even know what day it is. He don't know what the world doing. His wife got to keep him up to date. His sons and his daughter got to keep him up to date because all he want to do is just play. Talk football all damn day. So I'm like, dang, Coach T, man, like really do love it. So when they get to talking about Coach T, I kind of feel some kind of way because I seen the man work in action.
Me too. Yeah, he wanted the ghost in this league, man. I mean, I take my hat off to him all the time, man. And he's a phenomenal talent. What you don't realize about like NFL coaches sometimes, they got memories like elephants. I've trained guys, I've coached guys, and they've always told me that I've probably forgotten more stuff than people know, and that's true when you start talking about NFL coaches, head coaches, and Mike T is one of those guys.
Yeah, he is a 11-2 during his tenure in Pittsburgh, coming off a loss of 20 points or more. So that dates back to 2007. So whether they rebound against the Ravens or not, we'll see. Ravens favored on the road this weekend. Daniel, before we let you go here, how do you see this game going? Key matchups. Just want to get your perspective there. I think we might have lost Daniel, but for me, it's going to be a lot of the same that we've seen in the last several weeks. Ball control game, line of scrimmage game, and this Steelers-Ravens rivalry always seems to come down the final play or the final few plays, and I don't see this one going any differently. Despite the fact that it seems like the sky is falling in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin usually gets his team ready to go after what was, in my opinion, an embarrassing loss in week 4 to the Texans. I think the Steelers regroup this week. I really do.
Yeah, Coach. Hey, they training this week regular practice went to training camp practice. They say so. Helmet, shoulder pads, full gear. Coach T like taking care of his players. Coach T is a really understanding coach, and he like taking care of his players. But when you don't take care of him, it's back to me. And taking care of him is going out and winning them ball games. And it was just the physicality part, Mark. It didn't look good, especially for somebody who plays defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It wasn't a good look for me. I ain't even want to watch the game and keep it 100 with you. I was in and out a lot of games because I was frustrated. But Coach T, just talking to the players, they went back to really full padded practice on Wednesday. I know Coach T liked taking care of his players, but that didn't look good against Houston last week. Like we were talking about earlier doing our shows or Houston last week, man, they was way more physical, and it was 3 or 4 guys rallying to one ball carrier. Pittsburgh didn't have that last week, and that's an attitude, and you got to have an attitude for that on defense, and you got to have a I'll be damned. I'll be damn a rookie quarterback, and I ain't saying nothing about C.J. Stroud because I think C.J. is going to be that guy for sure. But, we used to not lick our chops. We used to be like, I'd be damned if a rookie quarterback get off on us. Coach LeBeau, send your dogs every day, all day. We don't want to give him no time. We don't want to give him no confidence. But that's just a testament on what Houston and what they got going on. I think they hit it on the head. They got the right guy. As far as like quarterback franchise guy, they stay healthy. Got some young wide receivers pieces around him as well. But as far as like a Pittsburgh former player, especially on defense, you don't want to put that on tape. You don't want to put that kind of not being physical on tape. Now, if you're going to just out scheme us and just beat us, y'all just going to beat us and we'll fight you after the game. That's just what it is. But your defense ain't going to play. You're not going to out physical us, especially on the defensive side. We take pride in that, and that's what Pittsburgh didn't do on Houston. So we shall see this week. It's like going against the Ravens. If you scared, just stay at the crib, stay at home. Cause this the kind of game where you got to get a bigger mouthpiece. You got to pump a little bit more air in your helmet. You got to get bigger shoulder pads because it's gonna be a car collision every play. That's just what it is when we play the Ravens. Ain't nothing pretty about this. This game is like the Oklahoma drill. All game. So may the best man win.
And I think Daniel's having connection issues, Ike, so I will go ahead and wrap. I do like the Steelers to take care of business this weekend against the Ravens, but we will see. Ike, we'll both be there too. I know there's going to be a tailgate outside of the stadium.
Yes, sir.
We'll both be at, so I'm excited to see you in the flesh. And listen, man, my dad's pumped to meet you in person. I know we've talked a few times behind the scenes here on the pod, but we are very excited to be at Acrisure Stadium this weekend in Pittsburgh, Ike.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look. Man, listen here. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see you and Pops. I just pulled up the tickets, man. I just got a ticket sent to me. So as we were speaking, Pittsburgh had Ravens week, Pittsburgh divisional game. You know what time it is, man. But make sure y'all go to BetOnline.ag on the Pittsburgh and Steelers Ravens game, but just any sport, just in general, man. So y'all know we're doing with BetOnline.ag. And we want to thank Daniel, Wilcox for coming on the show, man, former player for Tampa and with the Ravens. It's an understanding that we don't like each other, but it's always respect. So we just keep it in the family with the Bleav podcast. So we got to thank Daniel for coming on the show. Also, I want to thank Mark, too, my co-host. He's been nothing but like a brother to me So I want to appreciate you too, Mark. And make sure y'all go to YouTube and subscribe on our Pittsburgh Steelers Bleav in podcast. Make sure y'all give us a 5-star rating and reviews on Apple Podcasts as well. Want to thank the Bleav in Steelers podcast. Want to thank Daniel Wilcox for coming on the show. Want to thank BetOnline.ag for always being with us since day one. Want to thank Mark too as well. Want to thank all the fans and listeners for tuning in to our show. I'm going to let Mark close it out.
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, Ike.
Yes, sir.
For Ike Taylor, I'm Mark Bergin. Thank you to our guest, Daniel Wilcox. Enjoy Steelers and Ravens, NFL Week 5. We'll see you next week. Until then, take care and so long, everybody.
Peace.